Hi, we are here today at Valley OBGYN with Karen Keene. She is a nurse practitioner here at this facility. We wanted to meet today to talk about IT in the medical field. And let me give you just a little bit of her background. She has a bachelor's of nursing from the University of Maryland, a master's of nursing from the University of Utah, and she's been practicing as a nurse for 39 years. She's been a nurse practitioner for 18 years, and lastly practiced clinical nurse specialists for high-risk OB for 8 years. She's been here at Valley OBGYN for 18 years now. So Karen, thank you for joining us first of all and giving us some of your time today. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Now I'm Generation Y, so I learned to touch type when I was in probably the 6th grade, so I've had technology my entire life. Would you share with us your experiences with, from the beginning of your career, not having as much technology as available today to today? So, for example, the first thing that comes to my mind is of not having technology is maybe when you see patients, you have to write everything down, and surely that's changed today from...
That's changed in a huge way. When I started as a staff nurse in 1974, we hand wrote everything. All of our notes, everything was handwritten. All the doctor's orders, all the lab requests, everything like that had to be hand done. And one of the things I hadn't thought about till you mentioned some of the technology, I had times when in order to reach a physician, we actually used walkie-talkies to get through to them, and that's not something you would ever see these days. So everything was handwritten. We evolved from handwriting everything to dictation. I have been here, as you said, 18 years, and initially I hand wrote everything in the chart, but all of that writing was really almost giving me like carpal tunnel. So I went to dictating. So I dictated all of my notes and things like that for probably about 8 years, and then we've been on electronic medical record for probably about 10 years here at our clinic.
And so your electronic medical record, what program do you use?
We use one called Centricity.
Okay.
It's evolved. Initially it was Logician, which was developed in Portland, and then it became Centricity, and I don't know if it has a newer name than that, but that's what we're using, and that's what we've used. It's not without its problems, because we kind of patched some things into it that weren't there when we first started working with it.
And is there anything that stands out in your mind just immediately in regards to technology affecting your day-to-day business in a positive or a negative way? I mean, it's, essentially they say technology is supposed to make our life easier. And in most ways it does, but have you experienced anything to support either side more than the other?
I think it's kind of a plus-minus thing in that I've given up the handwriting, and so that has made things faster for when I actually see a patient. And when I see a patient, sadly, I do type on my computer, which to me takes a little bit away from the direct patient contact. But if I don't, then I get really behind, and I won't remember at the end of the day what was special about this one. I try to do it at the point of the contact of the visit itself. And then one of the things I do like, excuse me, is that we have electronic order now for our ultrasounds and our lab requests. So I don't actually have to fill out a piece of paper that the patient has to take to the lab. I email it to the lab. I email my prescriptions to the pharmacy. All of that saves us time in theory, but everything, because it's computer issues, the computer issues some days just make us all pull our hair out. Last Monday, I started the day with a full schedule and no computer service the first hour. So it stays like that you're not sure you want to do this anymore. But it's been quite an evolution in that regard.
It's interesting that you say that last Monday you were down for an hour. We've almost become far dependent on technology because if you're down for an hour, you're not getting anything produced, that you would have if you had it. So when you're down, you're truly down.
Oh, I still produced. I saw patients
Oh, okay.
without a computer. I saw
Mhm.
patients and wrote down their story. But
Mm.
what that hampered then was I didn't have access to her medical record the
Mhm.
way I did when we had a paper chart. When we had a paper chart, I took the paper chart in the room and would talk to the patient and had all her data. When I don't have an electronic medical record in front of me, you're brand new to me. I don't
Mhm.
know your story. I have to
Mhm.
start fresh. And so that takes more time. And then it's playing catch up, all day long, running behind, catching up because we didn't have data on people. We still had to enter all the data in the computer at some point
Mhm.
and stuff. Then the other thing that I don't know if it's unique to our office, I know other offices struggle with this. We are our own independent facility. Downstairs is another facility. We compete for Wi-Fi.
Oh.
The way our building is laid
Mhm.
out in the distant points, this is one of them. I don't have good computer access when I go from this room into a patient room. I'm actually now using my iPad for that because my iPad drops fewer times than the actual laptop computer I typically use.
Mhm.
So on the days I'm in this corner of the building, I use my iPad.
Mhm.
And I also then come out and have a desktop computer that I can enter more data in because it'll be faster for me. And then, do you guys study the meaningful use changes that are mandated by the government?
Not as of yet.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you'll get into that with health administration
Mhm.
issues, but with meaningful use, last year we did a 90-day, it's called an attestation time period, where we had to show that at least 50% of all of the providers in our clinic, and there are 8 of us, could make sure the patient got a summary about their patient visit given to them.
Mhm.
And it sounds easy, but it was actually, I figured it out one day. It took me on average 8 to 10 more minutes per patient to be able to produce that document.
Mhm.
It's not seamless. It will
Mhm.
improve with time.
Yes, so more links need to be made.
Yes.
To
Yes.
make it easier.
Yeah.
Just in general.
And I think one of the mistakes we've made in healthcare with this is we should have, as a nation, picked one style.
Yes.
I mentioned to you earlier I was in the Army.
Mhm.
In the Army, I could go to any Army hospital anywhere in the world, walk in, pick up a chart, and go to work because we were standardized.
Mhm.
This has not been standardized nationwide. So
Mhm.
will our computer system feed into this computer system and into that computer system? Not yet, not without glitches.
Right.
And when that happens, that's going to be awesome. When we
Mhm.
get all those glitches ironed out, that's going to be awesome. For you to
Yes.
be able to be anywhere in the world, get seen healthcare wise, and say, "Here's my chart,"
Yes.
and show somebody on
There's
your
no
on your
questions.
phone,
Yeah.
on your cell phone, that
Mhm.
this is my chart. Here's my allergies. Here's my story. That'll be awesome technology. You guys will see that.
Mhm. Yes, we will. Well, thank you, Karen, so much for your time.
Oh, you're
We
welcome.
greatly appreciate it. Thank you.